Dillian the Body Snatcher right here. It's a champ. Big up to Sporting Icon. Subscribe. Otherwise, I might pay you guys a visit.
It's your boy Big Baby. Support Sporting Icon for latest boxing news. Cheeseburger.
Now, this is a fight I know a lot of people would absolutely love. And Bib Baby Jarrell Miller has called out the Body Snatcher, Dillian WHyte. Of course, pending him being successful over Bogdan Dinu this weekend in Kansas. And of course, December 22nd, Dillian WHyte being successful over Derek Chisora. And of course, he's going to have to then rely on Anthony Joshua fighting Deontay Wilder to free up Dillian WHyte, because Dillian WHyte is the backup. Personally, I don't think Dillian WHyte should be anybody's backup, but it is how it is. So anyway, there's a statement here on Sky Sports from Bib Baby Jarrell Miller, how he wants the Body Snatcher. So click that subscribe button and thumbs up, and let's get straight into it. This is Bib Baby Jarrell Miller's statement. I have to beat a Brit. If I do that, a lot will change. When you are high risk, low reward, people will make excuses not to fight you, and the fans will buy into it. I'm not afraid of Dillian. I'm afraid of no man. If AJ is not ready to face me with a title, then I'll go whoop Dillian's butt. It'll help my profile in Britain. He's a clown. Nobody's afraid of him. He's got a win over Browne, and that's it. For him to call people punks, he's deluded. I've fought 3 world title contenders back to back. I rate him as a fighter. He throws punches and wins. He's a top guy now because he's got his block knocked off by AJ. They've built him the right way. When he gets in the ring with me, watch how he changes. Watch how the whole I'm a body snatcher, I'll walk guys down stops. He couldn't walk down a 230-pound Joseph Parker. So you're going to walk me down, 300 pounds plus behemoth that throws 80 punches around. I haven't even thrown my right hand in my last few fights for a reason. So when I really start clocking these guys, then people will see. The big fights will take some manoeuvring and finessing. So building my profile, winning the regular title and getting into a mandatory position is going to help me in that situation. I think I will definitely be in a spot to have an AJ or Deontay Wilder fight later in the year. So I need to get this win in Kansas and stay busy, focused, injury-free and ready. And that is Bib Baby Jarrell Miller's statement. He does go on about his upcoming opponent for Kansas in Bogdan Dinu. So I'll say this bit. Bogdan is an aggressive, but that's against guys who want to survive. He's never fought someone like me who's going to be the aggressor in the fight. He's light and he's not a heavy puncher. I'm going to be coming forward, throwing bombs and mixing it up. It's going to be completely new to him. He's going to try and move against me. Everyone does. But they all end up running for their lives. And so he can only run for so long. Bib Baby Jarrell Miller statement. So, I mean, we can briefly touch on Bogdan Dinu. For me, I don't know if the WBA regular world title is in fact going to be on the line for sure yet. I still haven't seen official confirmation of that. As far as I'm aware, there's still a bit of a dispute between VADA, the WBA and Manuel Charr over the whole thing. Obviously Manuel Charr failed PD test. He then took another test and he passed that one. So who knows exactly what's going to be happening. But if the title is on the line, I don't agree that Bogdan Dinu should be the one to get a shot. I agree Bib Baby Jarrell Miller should be there, but not Bogdan Dinu. I know he's 18-0, he's undefeated, but against who? Okay, and there's so many contenders ranked above Bogdan Dinu that Miller should be fighting for that title. But somehow Eddie Hearn is managing to swing this one. So Bogdan Dinu versus Jarrell Miller is for the title. Anyway, that is what it is. And I fully expect him to cut off Bogdan Dinu, unload on him and stop him. That's fully what I expect to happen. Now, as far as Dillian WHyte goes, now for him to say that he's only beaten Browne, that's a bit of a short call right there. But you know what? We can give Dillian WHyte that one. He was undefeated and former WBA regular world champion. The same title that Jarrell Miller is hoping to secure. So yes, he has beaten and knocked out emphatically Browne. But for him to criticise Dillian WHyte's win over Joseph Parker, that's a stretch. Joseph Parker is far better than anybody, literally anybody, on Bib Baby Jarrell Miller's resume. And I like Bib Baby Jarrell Miller. I enjoy watching him fight. I like his trash talk. I like all of it. Okay, but for him to say that he fought 3 title contenders back to back, again, he's kind of twisting the truth on that one. He's talking about Gerald Washington. He's talking about Johann Duhaupas. And of course, he's talking about Marius Wack. All 3 of those have had world title opportunities. Duhaupas and Washington both fought Wilder. Neither one of them should have been in the ring with Wilder. Neither one of them deserved a world title shot. Okay, the only one who kind of did at the time was Mariusz WHyte when he took on Klitschko. And Klitschko beat him within an inch of his life. So for me, I think that the biggest name on his resume is Mariusz WHyte. Mariusz WHyte, of course, lost his weekend to Arthur Spilka, a former Deontay Wilder opponent who got knocked clean out and, of course, got knocked out by Jarrell Miller's best friend and Adam Kownacki as well. So Mariusz WHyte is his best win. You probably could argue as well Thomas Adamek. That was his last fight, but yes, he was in a world title fight with Vitaly Klitschko years and years and years ago, and again he got beat up royally. His best days were at cruiserweight, in my opinion. So the wins that Jarrell Miller has, for the amount of fights that he's had and lack of amateur experience, he's done good. Okay, I'm not going to criticise it, but to compare what he's done to Dillian WHyte is a whole world of difference. There really is a whole world of difference. For me, Robert Helenius beats all those guys. Lucas Browne could beat all those guys. Joseph Parker certainly beats all those guys. So anyway, I mean, he's saying that to beat a Brit, things then change for him. And he's absolutely correct. We've seen that time and time again. Look at Joseph Parker, okay? He defended his WBO World Heavyweight title against a Brit, Hughie Fury, on YouTube pay-per-view, okay? And because of that, he then got a fight with Anthony Joshua and then Dillian WHyte. And the British fans love Joseph Parker. They would welcome him back to fight whoever, and they would tune in and watch because they fight the British fighters. And so Jarrell Miller is absolutely correct. So he's seen the landscape and he said, look, you know, I need to beat a Brit, and Dillian WHyte, there will be no better scalp. If he could get a win over Dillian WHyte, that would be, for his career, sky high. Okay, he would be a big, big draw here in the UK and back home in America, because a lot of Americans don't like Dillian WHyte because Dillian WHyte's been calling out their champion, Deontay Wilder, and they don't like that. They don't want people calling out their champ, okay? But again, I mean, for him to say that he wants to fight with Deontay Wilder and AJ, is realistically he can get a fight with AJ, unrealistic he can get a fight with Deontay Wilder. First of all, Wilder wouldn't entertain it. Second of all, Miller isn't ranked by WBC because he's not a part of VADA. But if he was to become WBA regular world champion, he then has to be part of VADA. It's then compulsory. So maybe then he could get a fight with Wilder. But again, it's going to be a voluntary. And I don't see Deontay Wilder giving him a voluntary at all. So the route for him would be Dillian WHyte. And that build-up would be absolutely epic. It would be absolutely epic. You know, the trash talk from both sides, and it wouldn't surprise me if these two guys end up putting hands and feet on each other in press conferences. It wouldn't surprise me. Both of these guys have a very similar background in the sense of they both came from world level kickboxing. So these guys can rough it up on the streets where again it'll be very even pegging, and very even pegging in the ring as well. Both of them undefeated. Well, I say undefeated, Dillian WHyte has one loss. Of course, that was a long time ago against Anthony Joshua when he had shoulder injury, and Jarrell Miller does have a draw on his record as well. But it's a fight that, where both of these guys are come forward fighters, they do walk opponents down. So one of these guys is going to have to give, and it wouldn't surprise me if this fight turns out to be a bit of cat and mouse. But again, we've heard Miller talk about how he wants this fight, he wants that fight, he wants this fight, but they never turn up. They never seem to materialise. He comes out with, well, I don't want to leave New York. I don't want to leave America. He had a chance to go fight Kubrat Pulev, but didn't take it for a massive amount of money, $500,000. And then he ended up fighting Thomas Adamek for, what, not even a quarter of that, I would imagine. I mean, I don't know that for a fact, but... And again, that was for the IBF mandatory. He turned it down. Dillian WHyte turned it down. You can understand it because he got a huge, huge payday against Joseph Parker. And Joseph Parker is a bigger and better name than Kubrat Pulev here in the UK. Okay? But for these two to have a fight, that would be absolutely fantastic. But for him to say that nobody's afraid of him, well, actually, your fellow countryman in Deontay Wilder is afraid of him. Okay? We know this for a fact. Who turns down $8 million to fight somebody who is easy work, right? Who turns down $8 million and then goes and fights Luis Ortiz? Who does that? That's just ridiculous. People say, well, that's because he was trying to prove something. No, no, no. He knew fine well the condition of Luis Ortiz. He knew that very, very well. But Miller is right. Dillian WHyte has been built correctly. He's got a fan base. I'm part of that fan base. This channel is always supportive of Dillian WHyte. Dillian WHyte knows that. He's been on here multiple times and we've spoken loads. So yeah, I mean, he knows that, and he is built correctly. He really is. I mean, he's a pay-per-view headliner. And Jarrell Miller, if he wants that, he's going to have to come get that. So for me, I hope that fight happens. I would rather see Dillian WHyte versus Jarrell Miller than Dillian WHyte versus Luis Ortiz. Perfect scenario would be Dillian WHyte versus Dominic Breazeale, purely for the WBC mandatory, because WBC messed it all up. But as far as just being a fan wanting to watch a great fight, I think Dillian WHyte versus Jarrell Miller, one of these guys is going to have to give. Can Jarrell Miller take the body shots of Dillian WHyte? Can Dillian WHyte take the pressure of Jarrell Miller? Time will tell. Let's get this fight on. Hopefully it's not just talk. I really hope that it's not. I do hope that Jarrell Miller is serious. So after he beats Bogdan Dillon, which I fully expect, and after Dillian WHyte beats Derek Chisora, which again I fully expect, I do expect an improved Chisora, by the way, and I'm not expecting him to blast him out in 2 rounds, not at all, but it wouldn't surprise me if he did. Now, of course, if Dillian WHyte doesn't get AJ April 13th because Wilder went, yeah, actually, you know what, I've just managed to grow myself a backbone and I'm actually going to accept all this cash with a new improved guaranteed rematch, win, lose or draw, with fighting AJ in America after, which is the new contract, by the way, then great. If he does that, fantastic. Dillian WHyte versus Big Baby Jarrell Miller. Bring it on. Love that fight. Anyway, click that thumbs up while you're there. Drop yourself a comment and subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.